Good afternoon, everybody. Want to be our Summary Markets episode 186. As always, we're going to start off with this week's calendar, then we'll move into some equities and commodities and crypto analysis. So starting off with this week's calendar, it's a pretty busy week. We do have a lot of high impact data. Nothing happening tomorrow, so Monday is empty. Moving on to Tuesday, not a whole lot happening on Tuesday either. We have the small business index at 6 a.m. and the 10-year bond auction at 1 p.m. The 10-year bond auction, it says it's low impact, but typically they do have a pretty high impact within, I'd say, 5 to 15 minutes of that data release, and then it kind of goes back to what it was doing. But if you guys are trading around 1 p.m., just watch out for that. Sometimes it can cause a bit of a spike in volatility. But moving on to Wednesday here, probably the biggest day of the week, we have CPI data coming out at 8:30 in the morning. Crude oil inventories at 10:30, 30-year bond auction at 1 o'clock, and then the budget balance at 2 p.m. Moving on to Thursday, we have the PPI data coming out at 8:30 in the morning, as well as the retail sales and the unemployment claims. We have business inventories at 10 a.m., and then natural gas at 10:30. Moving on to Friday, we have the manufacturing index at 8:30, the industrial production at 9:15, also with the cap rate at 9:15 as well. And then at 10 o'clock, we have the consumer sentiment and inflation expectations. So as far as the big things you have to watch out for this week, really watch out for that CPI data on Wednesday at 8:30 and the PPI data at Thursday at 8:30. Those will definitely be the highest impact, definitely the CPI. So watch out for that. All right, moving on to the analysis. Let me turn on my mouse highlighter here. I always forget to turn that on. There we go. Okay, so we are in the rollover week. So you have to decide basically today or tomorrow, do you want to roll over to the new contract? Now, normally, I typically wait until Monday or Tuesday of the rollover week. And this week, the rollover is happening on Friday. So typically I would wait till one Monday or Tuesday. But because I do these weekly videos on Sunday, and I like to have all my levels ready to go by Monday, we are going to go ahead and start using the new contract. Now, when I switch over to this new contract on ATOS and Tradevate, if I see a lack of volume, if it seems like it's not really getting enough delta, getting enough volume, then we will go back to the old contract probably until at least Tuesday or Wednesday. But I'll let you guys know for sure on our live stream. But for right now, when we pull all these levels, we are going to be pulling them for the continuous contract, the newer contract, which if you guys are choosing your contracts, if you type in ES on TradingView, you just go to the drop down here and it will let you choose which contract you want to use. The old contract is the U contract, the September. The new contract is December. So starting on Friday, it will have to be December. You'll have to trade on December or past it. Okay. So right now, the continuous contract is showing December. Okay. All right. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started on our levels. First thing we're going to mark out here is the rollover gap. That rollover gap is trading at 44.57, which makes the third daily gap that we have on ES right now. This is absolutely ridiculous. ES typically doesn't even have one open gap on the daily. We have 3 open gaps on the daily currently. So this is really inefficient. The market does not typically do this. So we have the rollover gap from right now at 44.57. We have the old one at 4,300, and we have the earnings gap at 4,600. So all 3 of those gaps have a very high likelihood of being filled. It's just a matter of when. When is it going to get filled? Okay, so let's go ahead and hide our profiles here. We're going to grab the weekly. My apologies, I did mess up on the last summary markets. I think we grabbed the holiday on accident. So I'll make sure to get this right this time. Let's see. Yeah, we grabbed from Sunday. Okay. So you want to grab from Sunday to where we are now. So get 5 days of price action there. And let's go ahead and mark out our weekly levels. So we have the value area high at 45.30. We have the value area low right where the gap is at 44.58. And we have the POC trading at 45.13. As far as classifications go, this would be a capital B. And the secondary node, so the first node was down here, secondary node is up here. Weirdly enough, it's kind of inverse. This would be the primary node, this would be the secondary node, but because of that gap up, this becomes the secondary node because that's the most recent price action. Very weird, but that's just kind of what happened. So basically what's happening here is we have a big LVN in the middle. This needs to be protected if the buyers want to stay in control. So the best possible protection point would probably be around 4,500. And then the lowest possible protection point would be around 44.73. And as long as they protect that, the bulls are in complete control of that profile. All right, let's go ahead and pull up our intraday profiles and let's grab some levels. We already have a bunch of levels marked out, so let's just go ahead and grab levels that are not overlapping. So we have the value area low of Thursday. Let's grab the value area low of Friday as well. We can grab the value area high as well. And I think that should be good. Yeah, we have enough levels. Okay, so moving forward, if we start holding below Friday's value area low, 45.03, look for that 200 EMA, which is around 93. If we break that, first major target would be 81. And then all the way down to the gap at 57. Bullishly, if we can hold above 45.18, we want to look for 45.30. And then we have a pretty strong breakout potential into 51 and 62. It's all going to be dependent on how that data comes out on Wednesday, Thursday, and how the dollar reacts to that data. Okay, first things first for NASDAQ, let's go ahead and clean up our chart here. Let's get rid of our older levels. And that should be good. Let's make sure we grab the gap here. And then let's grab our weekly levels. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure we're going back to Sunday. Yep, all good. All right, let's go ahead and grab the value levels. So we have 582. We have 477. And finally, we have 316. Very similar profile. It's not as strong as ES, I would say. It doesn't have that very strong capital B. It's more of a triple distribution. So we have a node on the top, node in the middle, and then a node on the bottom. But the final node is on the top because of that gap up. So same thing that we said on ES, as long as they can protect these LVNs. So in this case, around 440, and then probably around 330. If they can protect those, the buyers are still in control. If the buyers can hold on to, let's mark out some levels here really quickly. So we'll grab Friday's value. We can grab Thursday's value real low. And that should be good. Okay, so if we can hold on to 536 and 582, breakout targets are 661 and 785. And we still have that gap above us around 818. That's like best case scenario if that data coming out this week is very bearish for the dollar. To the downside, if we hold below 430, we're looking pretty weak, possibly into a gap fill, maybe all the way down to 286. If we start holding below the gap, we are looking for a value retrace down into 198. All right, moving on to Bitcoin. Pretty much nothing has happened on Bitcoin, so take exactly what we said last week and just apply it to this week. We are still stuck in that range. You are still looking to be a buyer down here in the buy zone. You saw how that buy zone worked beautifully on Wednesday. We also had a beautiful bounce on Friday. last Friday, not this Friday, recently. And then recently today, we had a bounce in the buy zone as well. So a couple bounces there. If we can hold back above the middle of the range, you're just looking for the high of the range and then rinse and repeat. Nothing crazy about crypto here. Same thing on Ethereum. You're still leaning slightly bearish. You can see this accumulation is kind of downtrending here. It's something that we would call like a vertical accumulation, downward accumulation, whatever you want to call it. But it is kind of chopping in one direction. So if they can hold on to the middle of the range here, look for that possible sell zone. The only problem here is, like we were just saying, it is putting in lower highs. So that sell zone might be a little hard to get to. All right, moving on to oil. Oil had a pretty nice breakout this week, or at least it tried to have a nice breakout, and then it kind of stalled for a bit. So that level around 88, 88.30 is holding strong. If you can hold above that, you are looking for around 90. And then we have a breakout potential into 94. If you can't break this 88 level, it's probably going to come back down to 85. So 85 would be the big support we're going to keep our eyes on. All right, moving on to the dollar here. Obviously, the analysis that we do here on the dollar and the euro, not going to matter too much because we have so much news coming out this week. You really want to pay attention to how that data is coming out. But as far as big levels to watch this week, I would say the big bullish level, if a lot of that data comes out bullish this week, we're looking for 106. That's the main target. 105.88 to 106. If a lot of that data is bearish, you're looking for the 103.5 support. If we hold below that, it's looking pretty bearish into 102. Moving on to the euro is coming into a pretty big support. We have that level at 106.4, so 106.47 to be exact. If a lot of that data coming out this week is bearish for the dollar, that would be bullish for the euro. So most likely it will bounce around that support. And then we will most likely look for 109 to 110. If the data comes out bullish for the dollar, that would be bearish for the euro. Remember, they're inverse. And we are most likely going to see a break of that 106.47 level. If it does start breaking that support, we don't have a lot of support until we get down to this low right here, which is 105.27. Okay. So like I said, keep an eye on that data. It's really hard to predict what these currencies are going to do until we see that data. And just for a quick reminder, most of that data is coming out on Wednesday and Thursday. All right, guys, this was the summary markets. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to hit that like button if you did. I will be streaming this week, Monday through Friday, 9:15 in the morning. So if you guys are new to my content, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys on our live streams. Have a good rest of your weekend. Peace out.